Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Requesting everyone to settle down and put your mobile phones on silent mode. The event will begin shortly. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Requesting everyone to settle down and put your mobile phones on silent mode. The event will begin shortly.
Welcome to the future, where AI is reshaping industries and we're at the forefront of this transformation. Web 3.0 is not just a concept, it's a reality that's shaping the way we connect and interact online. Discover how these innovations are creating new possibilities. Get ready for a journey into the realms of AI and Web 3.0 at the most anticipated event of the year. Techlusive Summit and Awards Season 4.
Hello and a very good evening. I, Reisha Sehgal, on behalf of Z Media Group, extend a very warm welcome to our esteemed guests and profound speakers to Techlusive Summit and Awards Season 4. Well, the theme for this year's award is AI and Web 3.0 Threats and Opportunities. Well, ladies and gentlemen, to give you a brief context of this year's theme, well, the year 2023 has been momentous for various reasons, and especially regarding technology. While on one hand, we have witnessed the rise and growth of AI, on the other hand, we've also witnessed dialogue and discussions around data protection laws, especially in India. And hence, this year's Techlusive Summit is pegged on the theme AI and Web 3.0 Threats and Opportunities. Well, I would also like to take this moment and thank our sponsors, OTT partner Watcho, associate partner 99acres.com, घर लेना हो या बेचना 99 acres से ही पूछना. It is India's #1 property portal. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the 4th edition of Techlusive Summit and Awards takes this very legacy forward by recognizing exceptional work in the field of technology. It also includes a set of awards that will be given to companies and products that have excelled in the field of consumer electronics in their respective fields. Well, be prepared. It is going to be a power-packed night ahead. And on that note, I would now like to unfold Techlusive Summit and Awards Season 4. I would also now request Dr. Idris Loya, Chief Technology and Innovation Officer, Essel Group, under whose dynamic leadership the platforms have achieved greater heights, to please come up on the stage and share his thoughts on Generative AI and Web 3.0. Can we have a round of applause for Dr. Loya, ladies and gentlemen?
Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to 4th season of Techlusive Summit and Awards powered by Z Media. What defines a great technology? A great technology is one which has great impact on humanity. And that is very interesting. First, we shape technology, and then technology shapes us. We discovered how to ignite and manage fire. That transformed what we eat and how we live. We invented modes of transportations, and that changed how we commute. Our ancestors used to walk to move around, and we use car for the same, but we walk around and we do walking for exercise and keeping us fit. We found antibiotics that prolonged our life, but that weakened us biologically. Technology adds great value to our lives, but it also has side effects. At Techlusive, we try to understand, monitor technology, its features, and we help user to decide, buy, understand, and put effective use of the technology. We help business to promote the product and sell, and we respect, recognize, and honor those people who contribute greatly in this domain. So today we are here to do the same, to honor those personalities which contributes to technology. Once again, I welcome you all, and thank you so much.
I would request Dr. Loya to please come up on the stage again for the lamp lighting ceremony. I would also request Gaurav Jain, CFO, India.com Private Limited, to please come up on the stage for the lamp lighting ceremony, and Sridhar Mishra, CRO, Z Digital Publishing, to please come up on the stage for the lamp lighting ceremony. Dr. Loya, I would request you again to please come up on the stage for the lamp lighting ceremony as we commence today's summit, Techlusive Summit and Awards, Season 4. Can we have a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce our chief guest for today's summit, Dr. Jitendra Singh, Union Minister of State, Independent, Charge Science and Technology, MOS, PMO, PPDOPT, Atomic Energy, Space Diabetologist, author alumnus of Stanley Medical College. Can we have a round of applause for our chief guest, Dr. Jitendra Singh? Right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here with us today on Techlusive Summit and Awards Season 4. Well, this year's Summit and Award it is pegged on the theme AI and Web 3.0. That is also because this year, 2023, has been momentous on various occasions, and especially when we talk about about technology. While on one hand, we have witnessed the advent and the rise and growth of AI, while on the other, we have also witnessed an increase in dialogue and discussions around data protection law, especially in India. We've also seen the resurgence of deep fakes, which we've been reading in news these days, and hence, today's summit is pegged on the theme AI and Web 3.0. It is basically a digital conundrum that we are facing today with the positives and the negatives of artificial intelligence in today's time. Well, in the fourth season, Techlusive Summit and Awards, again, pegged on the theme AI, Web 3.0, threats and opportunities. Today's event will also include a set of awards that will be given to companies and products that have excelled in the field of their consumer electronics in their respective categories. And the nominations in each categories, they have been selected by a team of experts and analysts. And the nomination in each category have been selected by a team of experts, and winners have been selected through a mixed combination of online polling and also by esteemed jury. We will be, of course, introducing our jury later in the event today. Well, not only this, this event will also witness a panel of experts who will talk about the opportunities of threats and generative AI and Web 3.0. Well, in just a short while from now, we will also be holding our first panel discussion, which will talk about the advent of artificial intelligence in today's time and the threats and opportunities that AI brings to the table. Well, like I mentioned earlier, that we have been facing influx of digital and basically a conundrum today's time. While AI does give us predictability and productivity, allowing physical tasks to be replaced, while with also faster and lower cost solution. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our chief guest for today's summit, Dr. Jitendra Singh, and he has just entered the hall. Can we have a round of applause for our chief guest, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Jitendra Singh, Union Minister of State, Independent Charge Science and Technology, MOS, PMO, PP, DOPT, Atomic Energy, Space, Diabetologist, author, alumnus of Stanley Medical, Chennai. A round of applause for our chief guest, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Jitendra Singh. I would now request our chief guest, Dr. Singh, to please come up on the stage and share a few words with us. Well, before that, I would request Dr. Loya, sir, to please come up on the stage again and share a few words with us on AI and Web 3.0 that we have been talking about here. Dr. Loya, please.
Respected Chief Guest, Honorable Minister, Dr. Jitendra Singh, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you once again, to fourth season of Techlusive, powered by Z Media. At this event, we are going to honor the people who have contributed immensely in the tech domain. We are going to also listen those great minds about AI and machine learnings. So you have a good evening today. Thank you so much. All the best.
I request our chief guest, Dr. Jitendra Singh, to please come on the stage and award our first set of winners. A round of applause for our chief guest, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Jitendra Singh. Dr. Singh, if you can also share a few words with us, and then we can move forward with our first set of awards, please. Thank you so much. A round of applause for our chief guest, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely. We'll first distribute our first set of awards, and then our chief guest will share his thoughts with us. Well, the award for the Best Camera Innovation Handset, the award for Best Camera Innovation Handset goes to Techno 20 Pro. A round of applause for the Best Camera Innovation Handset, and the award goes to Techno 20 Pro. Yes, can we please have the winners on the stage, please? The award for Best Innovation Handset, Techno 20 Pro. A round of applause for the winners, ladies and gentlemen. Well, the award for Viewer's Choice 5G smartphone under 10K, that award goes to itel PS5 5G. A round of applause for the winners, which is Viewer's Choice 5G smartphone under 10K, and the award goes to itel PS5 5G. Can we have the winner on the stage? Yes, it's the award for Viewer's Choice 5G smartphone under 10K, and that goes to itel PS5 5G. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And the award for Unbeatable Value TWS Earbuds, that award goes to Wycom. A round of applause for Unbeatable Value TWS Earbuds, which goes to Wycom. We also have an audio visual for the same award. Can we have a look at it?
मेरा नाम विजय वर्मा है। मैं एक एक्टर हूँ। जिंदगी के थिएटर में हम सभी एक्टर्स हैं और यहाँ कहने सुनने वाले भी बहुत हैं। जब मैं एक्टिंग करता हूँ तो मुझे सिर्फ अपने डायलॉग्स की गूंज सुनाई देती है, जैसे मिसेस घोष के कानों में गूंजता है सिर्फ उनका आलाप। वैसे ही लाल डेंगा महसूस करता है धड़कती हुई अपनी सांस।
और हरदीप को मत भूलिएगा आप, क्योंकि उसके लाइफ में चलता है सिर्फ रैप।
और कहीं सौम्या का दिल पूरा दिन डांस पे थिरकता है। हम सब में खास बात यह है कि हम कहने सुनने वालों की नहीं, हम सिर्फ अपनी सुनते हैं। इस बार किसी और की सुनने की बजाय वाईकॉम के साथ सिर्फ अपनी सुनो।
Well, that award was the Unbeatable Value TWS Earbuds Wycom. And the award for Gaming Smartphone of the Year, that award goes to Infinix GT10 Pro. That's the award for Gaming Smartphone of the Year, Infinix GT10 Pro. A round of applause for the winners, ladies and gentlemen. That's the award for Gaming Smartphone of the Year, Infinix GT10 Pro. Can we have a round of applause for the winners, ladies and gentlemen? The award for most stylish smartphone brand, that goes to Techno Mobiles. A round of applause for our next award, which is for the most stylish smartphone brand, and the award goes to Techno Mobiles. Can I request the winners to please come up on the stage? Can we have a round of applause for our winners, ladies and gentlemen, which is for the most stylish smartphone brand, Techno Mobiles. Best Business Laptop of the Year, Mass Market. That award goes to Infinix ZeroBook 13. Can we round of applause for the winners? for Best Business Laptop of the Year, Mass Market, which goes to Infinix ZeroBook 13. Round of applause for the winners, ladies and gentlemen. Right, these were the awards for the summit today. I would request Dr. Loya to please be seated. Our chief guest would be having a one-on-one with Rohit Watts. I would request Rohit Watts to please come up on the stage. Dr. Singh, I would request you to please stay on the stage. Rohit Watts, our editor DNA, will have a brief chat with you on the theme of today's summit, which is AI and Web 3.0. I would request Rohit Watts, editor DNA, to please come up on the stage and have a fireside chat with our Chief Minister for today's summit. A round of applause for Mr. Watts, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello everyone, I am Rohit Watts and I welcome you all on behalf of Z Digital, IDPL and Techlusive, the organizer of this event. And we have Dr. Jiten Singh ji with us. A lot of ministry, he has been handling a lot of things, a lot of ministries. So without wasting too much time, let me come to the point. Dr. Saab, how do you see technologies shaping today's youth's future?
Yeah, at the outset, thank you for having me here, Rohit, and congratulations all the award winners. Now coming straight to your question, I think it's not only the youth who's going to be driven by technology, the entire growth across the world is in the years to come going to be technology driven. And at the same time, it's going to be also global in character, that we can't be growing in isolation. So it will be a very integrated technology-driven growth because the world has shrunk, has brought us together. And be also that it's not only the technology is evolving each day as it has been so even in the past, the pace at which it is evolving is also increased. So you go to bed visualizing something for the next morning, it would have happened in the midnight itself. And third, those of the areas which were, at least as far as India is concerned, because now India is assuming a frontline role in the Committee of Nations. So some of those areas where we were considered to be either not capable of or maybe not having enough aptitude to perform, or maybe we didn't have that kind of priority, are also the ones where we are taking a lead. That be the space sector, it be the artificial intelligence, the quantum technology. Even in quantum technology, we are just about one of the 6 or 7 nations in the world in that elite league. In space technology, we have in many ways then, taken over some of the other nations. We started out much earlier than us, like for example, the United States, the Soviet Union. I think the most striking example of that is that the Americans were the first to land a human being on the surface of the moon way back in 1969. But it was our Chandrayaan which went and picked up the possibility of the presence of water over there through the evidence of H2O molecules.
True that.
And even today, the Chandrayaan 3 happens to have landed in the virgin zone of southern pole, and all the inputs that is being gathered by it are being very eagerly awaited by the rest of the world. So now the responsibility of India as a part of the global growth is also going to increase. And that too is going to be technology driven. But luckily, I think what is heartening at this, which is also is different now, is that we have an enabling milieu being provided by at the level of the policy plan, at the level of political leadership, particularly after Prime Minister Modi took over, because he has a natural flair for science technology, and he has given us the liberty to experiment wherever we have a conviction. Like, for example, space sector was working behind a veil of secrecy for almost 7 decades. There were just 10 people sitting inside and the gates of Sriharikota were very tightly shut down always. Now, during each launching, you have about 10,000 spectators over there. You have 1,000 media persons even during the launching of the Chandrayaan or Aditya. And we have now also opened up to the private players, a huge investment happening even in this current financial year from April to December this year. We've had an investment of more than 1,000 crore. So, are such sectors which were either unexplored or inadequately explored are now becoming also a very important contributors to the economy of India and thereby the global economy as well.
You very rightly pointed out that technology is changing so fast that overnight things are changing. And probably yours, the current government is one of the most tech savvy we have seen so far.
I think, just sorry to interrupt you, I think you rightly put it, and since we no longer live in the era of talking without evidence, we were, because I'm looking after multiple departments, as you said, in the pension department, which is hardly, discussed around, we were the first possibly in the government sector to have introduced face recognition technology to generate life certificates for the elderly citizens, because earlier on the elders were expected to go to a doctor and get a certificate. I thought it was quite inhuman, so we introduced biometry, but then since people started living long, the lifespans have increased, so after the age of 75, 80, even the fingerprints and the biometry may not be that reliable. So we got that artificial intelligence app there. The elder citizen just has to look into the camera of the mobile. That gets verified with his Aadhaar card ID, and within about 50 seconds, the certificates get generated and is provided at the desk of the banker. So we are actually very tech savvy. And that's the reason when COVID happened, we were not taken by surprise. We had already gone digital, most of the working. In fact, even in the other department that I'm dealing with, the Department of Personnel and Training, we didn't have an interruption of work even for 1 day or 1 hour. In fact, our output increased because we had 50% people working from home, as you recall. So they were even working on the weekends, on the Sundays, the holidays, which they were otherwise don't know how to do.
How do you manage with such a big country with so many people involving in even the smallest of technologies?
No, I think one of the important attributes of this technology, if it is used properly, is that it also helps you to improve your governance practices, to make governance more citizen-centric, citizen-focused, or also make it more self-centric for the citizen. Like you might have heard of a very ambitious program launched by this government called Pradhan Mantri Swamitva Yojana, which deals with the mapping of the farms, the lands, which was otherwise done by the revenue department. The revenue department had gained quite a lot of notoriety for, delaying things, and, people have to run after the Patwari and the revenue.
Now, some states like Bihar and UP, initially they faced a lot of problems in getting this done.
Yeah, but now see, that is using both the space technology as well as the drone. And you can do the mapping of your land, you can have your own assessment, even without seeking assistance from a government official. And there also, I think it's been possible. Not only this government has been very much inclined to use technology, we have also been very open to doing away with all those hindrances or obstructionist rules which were not that enabling. For example, space sector was not open to the private sector. Now
so
similarly, the drones. We had a drone policy. You could develop a drone only in the premises of a research institute like an IIT, etc. And what was happening was that people were developing drones clandestinely in these institutes.
True. So basically, technology for transparency.
Technology, transparency with ease of science, I would say, and whole of science. So that's what, because the optimum use of technology is possible only if you make its use more enabling. If you put restrictions which are unwarranted, then it doesn't work. Then it would retard your progress if you are actually looking forward to play a global role.
But do we have that much resource to fuel such a big plan?
Very nice question. Absolutely, that is what was happening. People would say, look here, what are you doing? Soviet Union has gone there. NASA, the famous premier space agency of America, they would compare our achievements with them and say, look here, where have they gone, where are we? But they didn't realize that more than 50-60% of the resource in the NASA is from the non-government sources. So no success story can depend wholly on government sources, whatever be the country, however powerful, however rich. And that is now being done away with. I think time is coming very fast, very soon, when we will not have any demarcation between the public and private sector.
But does that not increase the threats?
No, see, if we have to grow collectively from here on. And that kind of skepticism, mutual skepticism between the private and the public sector has to go away. The new National Research Foundation, which is going to be set up very shortly, which is called Anusandhan in India, is going to be rather a better version of what we have in the form of National Research Society in America. Over there also, more than 70% of the resource would be from non-government, both financially as well as knowledge-wise. And the governing body will consist of not only academia, research, or representatives of different streams of science, but even representatives from social sciences, from humanities, so as to also keep the cognizance of the Indian context. So it's going to be a very integrated approach hereafter. And for that, you have to do away. This government, I think, would be remembered later on for having done away with at least 2,000 rules. Most of the governments take pride in having introduced, and at the end of the day, when an officer superintends, he says, "मेरे time में मैंने ये कानून लाया है." अभी ये सरकार ऐसी होगी कि इतने हटा दिए हमने, which includes all these obstructionist rules which have been done away with. Like for example, we had so many rules which had been framed and which had been forgotten. Within 3 months after this government came in 2014, I think it was precisely the month of September 2014, we did away with that dubious British legacy of getting the testimonials or documents tested by gazetted officer. I mean, this should have been done away soon after independence. This was a feudal practice. It was no longer required. If I can't trust the youth of this country, if I can't trust the citizens of this country, how am I going to do business with them? True. Do I ask my son to get a certificate attested by a gazetted officer before he shows me his mark sheet? So I think that we have actually been very open to that. And I'm glad that Prime Minister has been supportive about it.
It's very evident that you guys are betting on the youth of tomorrow. Plus, incidentally, today's event is also about AI and Web 3.0. So, as the Minister for Science and Technology, so what do you think is the future for that? Like, what is government's planning?
No, I think this is one of the best times happening for Indian youth. And I say this with a certain amount of conviction. See, in the last 10 years, in 2014, we had just about 350 startups. Now we had more than 1 lakh, about 1 lakh 40,000. We have unicorns. In space, we had just one startup about 4 years back. After this space sector was unlocked to private players, we have almost 190 private startups. And the first generation of them have also already turned into entrepreneurs. Biotechnology is an upcoming area which is very exclusive to India because we have a huge biotechnology resource which was not explored. We have a wide range of Himalayas which is exclusive to us, not available to any other country. We have a 7,500 long coastal line beginning from Odisha to Maharashtra, only country which has an ocean named us. So there's a whole lot of biodiversity, minerals, metals lying inside. So that has sought to be explored. We are getting now startups in that area. In biotech startups, we had just about 50 biotech startups in 2014. Today we have around 6,000. So these new areas have opened up because we have thrown it open. And why I say, and there is an ecosystem now. Let's not also forget, while discussing about science technology, about the new education policy, the National Education Policy, NEP 2020, which is related to the youth. Somebody asked me, why do you say you envy the youth of this generation? I said, because I was a prisoner of my aspiration. They have the aspiration, and they have
nice quote, sir.
Yeah, and they have the. I was prisoner of my aspiration, but they have the aspiration and the outlets, and so many that they don't have. They have difficulty in making a choice. And I tell you an example. For example, if your parents thought you have to be a doctor, you took bio subjects in class 12. Then somehow you didn't manage to get a admission in a medical school. So what do you do then? You do BSc or a graduation in biology or whatever.
Whatever second options are there.
Same subjects. You can't get away because subjects keep chasing you. Then after graduation, you try your luck in civil services. You get well and good. If you don't, then what do? You do MSc or post-MSc. If you don't, then what do? You do PhD. Then what do? You become scientist. I mean, it's just that you are being chased by your subjects which had been by default selected or chosen by you, by your parents or your elders, by your teacher. Here now the National New Education Policy, the NEP 2020, gives us the option to juggle our subjects. So I can change my subjects after class 12, or even if not, I'm just citing the example of not getting admission, but otherwise also with the aptitudes also begun to realize, as one grows out of adolescence, you gradually begin to realize, no, I'm good at this, not at this. When you go to Bollywood, you always think you will become a hero because you think you look very good because your mother tells so, your loved ones tell you so, but then the camera tells you you're not meant for this. So you end up becoming a script writer. Some of them also end up becoming clapper boys. Others open a canteen outside a studio. So you realize what you are good at. That also happens as you grow. But then you don't have a chance because the education policy haunted you. Whatever subjects you had been, now you can juggle. You are even combining. I was tremendously gratified the other day, just 2 days back. I met a teacher. She's a graduate of alumni of Queen Mary's College, Chennai, also teaching there. She said, I feel so fascinated. I'm a teacher of political science, and in my class, I have boys from electronics, from communications also coming, because they have combined those subjects. And now, economics and electronics and IT is going to be a new combination.
Yes.
Health economics is already a recognized subject in the London School of Economics. So I think now if we have to live up to the world parameters, we have to follow the world strategies. So that's why I say this is one of the best times happening for the youth of India. And Indian youth now have that kind of esteem. Before any of the youth, because I keep traveling, any of our youth reaches a European country or the foreign country, his reputation or her reputation is already preceded it. Because acha, Hindustan se aaya hai. So they always have that image that he must be hardworking, good. Abhi mere time mein kya hota tha? Many of my generation people actually try to hide their identity. I remember one of my students went there and somebody asked him, where are you from? He said, I'm from Asia. I said, what do you mean Asia? Why do you say India? Because there was very little esteem about the Indian boys and girls. Now it's the other way around. Most of the startups abroad are preferring Indian boys and girls. And I asked them the other day in Berlin, I asked them, tell me 1, 2, 3, because I am also a student of science. What are the good things that you find in the Indian boys and girls? So they enumerated a number of them. The last one was that they don't take a weekend off. so there's a lot much of exclusive attributes that we have.
Also because this entire summit is all about finding new ideas. So how do you see India going for new ideas in next 10 years?
No, I think what is our advantage is that we have not been able to, we have not yet explored our exclusive domains. Like even in startup, in the context, we got stuck with IT startups. But startup does not mean IT. Startup could be agri startup, it could be health startup.
It could be anything.
It could be a non-graduate, non-science graduate. You don't have to be a PhD or an IITian. So I have experimented through our department. We started Aroma Mission, which is known as the Purple Revolution. We have 3,000 startups. And I think about 60% of them may not be even graduates. They have the aptitude, they have the junoon. We provide them technology support. And very important is the market linkage. So allied right from the beginning, a synergy between academia, research, industry. So our domain in India is one agriculture sector, which we have huge aroma belt in the Himalaya. Other is our coastal startups. Secondly, we were never lacking in our cerebral acumen. We were always ahead of them. See now.
So theoretical part was always there.
Yes, absolutely. We had lack of resources, but we had too much of commitment and passion. If you see in the archives, the photographs of Vikram Sarabhai carrying some of his baggage on the carriage of the bicycle, a launcher, loaded on the bicycle.
Yes, it's a very popular photograph.
So, I mean, that kind of passion and dignity of labor. So our boys and girls are very good at that. So their cerebral acumen is much ahead of others. And they are also very hardworking. I think what was lacking was the enabling milieu, which had to be provided by an ecosystem which was not there. That ecosystem is gradually getting in place. B, the resources, because we had restricted ourselves to government. We thought everything is because we came with a feudal hangover.
Right.
After
Somebody
200,
else will do it for us.
After 200 years of the British colonial rule. So that stuck in mind, that sarkar hi sab kuch. So now you are your own sarkar. So that once that comes in, then we go, because most of the countries which have grown beyond governments. And that's now it's absolutely now going to be a very synergized growth.
So on that very positive note, I wanted this conversation to go on and on, and I'm sure everybody is liking it. But just for the sake of rest of the event, rest of the summit, So thank you so much, sir. But before leaving, one final word for Z Digital, Z Media, the organizer of this event.
No, I think all that I have to, all that I can say is only the word of praise. Not that because you got me here, but also because I think as I was emphasizing the importance of synergy, I think you are making a contribution in that, to that extent. We are synergizing all of them, bringing them together, putting all these, bringing all these brains and heads under a single roof. So this comradeship and this fellowship also leads on to the birth of new ideas. So you are making a contribution in your own way in the cause of science and technology. So I must compliment you. Also, thank you for that.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your
Then
time.
a round of applause for Dr. Singh and Mr. Watts, ladies and gentlemen, for that very engaging conversation. I would request our chief guest, Dr. Singh, to please stay on the stage for a little bit more longer. And I would request Dr. Loya to please come up on the stage. Dr. Loya to please come up on the stage and present a small token of appreciation to our chief guest, Dr. Jitendra Singh. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our chief guest. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our chief guest, Dr. Jitendra Singh, Union Minister of State, Independent Charge Science and Technology, MOS, PMO, PPDOPT, Atomic Energy, Space Author, alumnus of Stanley Medical, Chennai. Thank you so much for being with us here today, Dr. Singh, and bestowing us with your presence. Well, ladies and gentlemen, our first panel discussion will delve into the advent of artificial intelligence and the threats and the opportunities that AI brings to the table. Well, we all have faced the digital conundrum. While on one hand, AI gives us predictability and productivity, it further allowing us to make our tasks easier, make our physical tasks easier, which is replaced with a faster and a lower cost solution. While, on the other hand, there are also issues with cybersecurity, hacks on customer and employee data, which we have been reading about in today's time, especially deepfakes. And a first panel discussion, it will talk about this digital dilemma that the world faces in today's time. And to discuss this, I would now like to call on stage our eminent and profound speakers and our moderator. Well, the session will be moderated by Shweta Ganju, Chief Sub-Editor, Techlusive.in. Can we have a round of applause for Ms. Ganju, ladies and gentlemen, who will be moderating the first panel discussion. Well, we also have with us Dr. Subhi Chaturvedi. She is the Global SVP and Chief Corporate Affairs and Public Policy Officer at InMobi. She's also the chairperson for FICCI's Committee on Women, Tech Policy and Leadership. A round of applause for Ms. Chaturvedi, ladies and gentlemen. Can we have a round of applause, please? We also have with us Karthik Sharma, who is the co-founder of Decode AI, which is a DIY AI learning platform. Well, Mr. Sharma is a member of, he's also the member of the FICCI Ed Tech Task Force that focuses on using technology in learning process. A round of applause for Mr. Sharma, ladies and gentlemen. And our last panelist is Himanshu Goel. Mr. Goel is the co-founder and COO of Future Studios that launched India's first virtual AI-driven influencer called Kyra in 2022. A round of applause for our moderator and our panelists. Stage is all yours.
AI has been the biggest tech trend of this decade. What was earlier just a subtext has now, morphed into a technology that's being used practically everywhere. Social media, banking, education, content creation, even legal. So on that note, I would like to ask you that what are some of the areas where AI has created the maximum disruption?
Hey, good evening, everybody, and many congratulations to the winners. Thank you, Shweta, for the question. I think it's very important to contextualize the discussion. So when Gen AI burst upon the scene, and that's when a lot of conversation happened, I lead a global public policy for InmoBee, which is India's first unicorn. We did it when this was not a buzzword. That's way back in 2011. Our second unicorn is called Glance. It's present on 400 million devices across the world. We're in 26 countries, and we're AI first. We live, breathe AI. And this is a conversation where it's very, very important to contextualize it. We've just been hosting the GPAI Summit, where the Honorable Prime Minister spoke about developing an ethical as well as a responsible, innovative framework for AI. Why is it that we're discussing this today and what is at stake is a very, very important conversation. So we're looking at about 15.3 billion in immediate impact, about 16 trillion by 2035 being added to global GDP. For India, the impact is going to be about 1.35% increase to our GDP. That's about 935 billion by 2035. So the kind of numbers which are so staggering, you cannot but afford to be a part of this revolution. What is working for us is our ability to understand content, culture, creativity, the immense amount of engineering talent that India has. And when you talk about disruption, I do not think there's any space that it has been left untouched by AI. So what has happened over the last couple of months is people who would normally be coding and engineering talent, this was happening somewhere which was about the tech universe. Somehow, because of the user interfaces becoming accessible, people understanding that there is a great use case for AI. So like any other technology, the first responses were fear. As Mr. Loya also mentioned, the evolution of technology. I'm an anthropologist by training. My PhD is from the IIT Delhi. And I love the intersection of how cultures evolved and how they respond to technology. And this is where, from manufacturing to farming to agri-tech to health tech, if you can use AI as an enabler, and again, there are about 850 billion AI assistants which are likely to occur by 2025, more than the number of people that you will have on the planet. So this is no longer a choice. You are going to get impacted. The good news is post-COVID, this has been a great leveler, and therefore we're at the right time, we're at the right place. And with the kind of enabling policies that we're discussing, and then we can get into the ethical issues and how India needs to be better prepared. But yes, it's going to disrupt business model, but I see this as a huge, huge benefit to the kind of ethos and the kind of problem statements that India presents. Thank you.
Karthik, do you agree?
Kind of, I think as a sentiment, I agree. But for me, I think the biggest advantage of a technology like AI is that it democratizes a lot of things, right? I remember when I was at IIT, a lot of folks from management schools, people, CXOs, who were considering to leave their jobs and start something, they were always coming to IIT for a tech co-founder, because they had these amazing ideas, they had distribution sorted, they had amazing marketing strategy, but they just didn't have those technology capabilities. But thanks to technologies like AI, anybody sitting in this room who has a great idea and knows how to execute it does not need a big tech team, does not need a tech co-founder. I think, to my mind, that's a great, democratization of entrepreneurship, that you just have a great idea, you put it on a napkin, back of the napkin, you upload it using computer vision, you can create your app, your website, your digital marketing campaign, everything can be done using AI. So I think that's a very B2C use case which touches all of us. But I think the low-level use cases are the digital assistants, which we're all using right now. But even sophisticated use cases, whether it's around in education, right? A lot of my work revolves around education technology. And I feel with the use of AI, the ultimate dream which we had, and that's also in healthcare to an extent, to have one-to-one access, like one-to-one teaching, one-to-one mentoring, personalized, which is very difficult to achieve at scale. But I think with technologies like AI, you are able to achieve that one-to-one mapping in education and healthcare. So I think that's to me a big win with AI.
So Himanshu, do you agree that AI has increased accessibility to practically every aspect that we can think of?
Right, so definitely, like Karthik mentioned, we are an early stage startup without a tech co-founder. So me and my co-founder, we are both from Mica, Ahmedabad, and we are both marketing guys. But AI has been a leveler for us. So we are using AI to build AI. Our product is, of course, is an AI influencer. And every day the field is changing. Every day there's a new disruption. Just last week, there were some coding updates that completely transformed how you're going to code any new application. So every week is something exciting is coming, and we are implementing it in real time. So whatever we have built for the past 2 years, whatever resources it took us, it's going to be 100 times more efficient in the next 2 years. So AI has been a great leveler for us, and we cannot wait to show what we have built so far with the help of AI.
So it's interesting that you mentioned disruptions. Increase in adoption of AI has also led to creation of characters such as Kyra, and of course, humanoid robots such as Sophia. So do you think we'll see more such developments in 2024?
Can you repeat?
Do you believe that we'll see more such disruptions in 2024?
We'll see. So I think it started with GPT, which was your text-based AI, generative AI. Then it was Stable Diffusion, which was your picture-based AI. Now it's going to be video. So far, video has been really difficult. People used to say that you cannot do hands with Gen AI. AI cannot figure out hands. They used to make fun of that. But now AI has figured out hands. Now people are saying that you cannot figure out video. We have tested some things, and AI has already figured out video. I think in the next 2024, you're going to see a whole lot more AI video, and it's going to completely disrupt how content is being created right now.
So in addition to that, how closer do you think we are to AI becoming sentient beings? So we will start with you.
Sorry.
How closer we are to AI becoming sentient beings?
Becoming what?
Sentient beings.
Sorry, I said beings.
Sentient beings.
I think it's going to take a little bit of time, but before we even address that question, I would want us to take a step back and look at what are the issues at hand. So we came up with a framework, and we look at first principles. If you were to just summarize this as the ABCD, what is at hand, adoption, you're looking at the pace at which you're not going to leave people behind, because the contextualization of tech is taking place in a country which is still emerging, which is still a developing economy. One of the biggest concerns that we are looking at is access, is bringing the next billion online. What do you do when you bring the next billion online? Are you going to be able to create and build capacity, ensure that when they come online, the internet is very different from how telecom works. So telecom is a licensor engagement. The internet works because it's got 4 core values, and that's interoperability, that's permissionless innovation, that's the ability to amplify human rights, the ability to make sure that there's interoperability. And you're doing this discussion in a world where you're also seeing balkanization of the internet. So when locating these debates about a singularity, about the threats that AI may pose, is it going to get smart enough to write code? So Asimov's principles will still work. What will also work is adoption, where you're able to help people get the best of it and not look at knee-jerk reactions. So evidence-based policy is very, very important. Building capacity is important. The B is for balance, where a balance between innovation and disruption. So I'd like to see 1,000 flowers bloom. I'd like to see more such startups. But when you look at this conversation, it's usually about, hey, how do we regulate it? How do we control it? And deepfakes are right at the center of some of the paranoia and some of the fear that's rightly been located. So this is where engagement between tech, between developers, between technology, between governments, and a lot of consultations are required. And C is about choices. So ensuring that open networks, ensuring that softwares which are free, available, which are allowing more choices to happen, working and balancing the act between corporatization and ownership of tech. And then D is about great quality of data. And these are very, very important questions before we get to, hey, what is the ultimate end goal going to look like? And those were some of the debates that we located even at the Bengaluru Tech Summit recently, where we've just launched the AI Safe Framework. And those are some of the questions that one would like to engage with further before we even get into the centenality of AI. Thank you.
Right. So a lot of discussion that is happening around the AI is also about the regulating the AI. Countries and even the UN are talking about, framing a framework wherein AI is regulated. So what are your thoughts on the matter? And do you think that that India should set up its own set of regulations to regulate AI and prevent its misuse? Shubhi.
Thank you, Shweta. I think this is a very, very important question where when you looked at the harm principles, so recently both the ministers and invited tech companies, publishers and platforms, and they're looking at 4 large buckets of engagement. One around what is the origin of the content? Do you need to make sure that it's sourced, it's traced? Is a label required? Is it even possible? Is it feasible? Are there enough regulation and existing laws that exist in the country today? 2, who's the publisher? Where is it being shared? How is it going to be amplified? How is the virality happening? Then they want to look at aspects of, can AI be used to teach AI, to be better? What are the kind of biases that you need to examine? How is it that you need to solve for this? And then you look at fixing accountability and responsibility. My dear friend Pawan is also in the room, who's done a lot of work around regulation and the law, where again, I want to go back to fundamental principles of tech being more responsible, being more innovative, and also being concerned about the aspects of proliferation. So when you become responsible technology platforms, I firmly believe we still have existing laws. We have enough laws, but we need to be compliant, we need to be cognizant, we need to be responsive, because reputations and lives are at stake. And especially in a context around elections and democracy, how the world is looking at it, you now have the first regulation that's come out in the US. You also have NIST, the US agency, which has put out the AI safe standards around cybersecurity, privacy, as well as AI. And these are enabling guidelines and frameworks. Then the US is also saying that large actors which have very, very large sets of data will be held accountable and will be regulated. So I believe what is very important is how is it that you ensure that technology is all pervasive. You do not put the cart before the horse. You make sure that innovation fosters. You create an environment that's enabling first.
Thanks,
and you continue
Shubhi.
to engage with the innovators.
Thanks, Shubhi. Karthik, what are your thoughts on the matter? Yes.
Yeah. So I feel that regulatory framework lies on 2 broad prongs. One is, do we have any fundamental model? So like many of the things which my panelists talked about are paraphernalia to the core applications, right? So a lot of AI applications, which even my friend is building on, I'm sure there is no fundamental model which is being developed. You're hooking it on top of some fundamental model which is built somewhere else, right? So all you are then providing is data to that model, and you are trying to regulate. So there's very minimalistic influence you can exercise over regulation when you don't own the fundamental IP or the model. And second is, okay. The second aspect is for intermediaries who are into that layer, people who are building chatbots on top of LLMs, people who are building video or multi-model applications on top of core models, they can be regulated in a way because they are handling data sets which are, let's say, lying in India or of Indian citizens. But I think unless we have something on Bharat Stack, which is our own open source model, it's very limited in terms of how you could regulate it. I mean, fundamentally, you can do very superficial regulation around it.
So one last question before we wrap up this session. AI, do you see it as an opportunity or as a threat? We'll start with Himanshu.
Right. So definitely it is a threat. I think there are 3 major questions. First of all, it's an existential threat. If AGI takes place, what's going to happen, we don't know. Second, it's economical threat. We don't know what's going to happen with the jobs. Third, it's a cultural threat. We don't know how our life will be. Smartphones have changed our lives completely. How will AI change our lives? On the opportunity side, I think people were afraid of the calculator when it first came, that mathematicians will become obsolete. But of course, that didn't happen. So if used as a tool, it can be huge. It has increased our productivity 10 times. So it can be a huge thing. I think it will be very foolish to say that I know what happens in the next 5 years or 10 years. The threat is definitely there, and we do need to tread carefully with this technology and use it. And ultimately, a tool is a tool. It depends on who is using it and how they're using it.
Karthik?
I think it's a threat for people who don't understand it and who cannot anticipate the use cases. I mean, you saw all the people who signed a paper saying that AI is a threat, stop the progress. They've all set up their own companies in AI. So they were just buying time to figure it out and anticipate. So I think it's an opportunity, threat for those who don't understand it.
Subhi?
I think it's a huge opportunity, and I don't think we have a choice in the matter. All the people, who've asked for a moratorium clearly are invested. They're interested. I don't think it's an option because when you looked at the journey, 5G, 4G, we're at a stage where we have a huge advantage. We have the ability to compete. It's almost a level playing field. I think there's tremendous amount of impact that India can create with the sheer volume of data that it has and the ability and talent that we have in terms of capacity. And therefore, I firmly believe that if you're not in the room, if you don't have a seat at the table, you're going to be at the menu. So I think it's very important that we own this space. And that's why the Prime Minister's bid to be the lead chair of the GPAI and to contribute to norms where we are able to come together and we're able to harness technology for good is something that's absolutely a given. I'm a firm proponent of the benefits that we can unlock for us, provided that we're able to balance this and we're able to put enabling guidelines in place. Thank you.
So AI is both an opportunity and a threat, depends on how you use it and what you make of it. On that note, thank you.
A round of applause for our panelist and our moderator. I would request our panelist and the moderator to please stay on the stage as we have a small token of appreciation for all of you. And for that very same thing, I would request Mr. Sridhar Mishra, CRO, Z Digital Publishing, to please come up on the stage and felicitate our panelist and our moderator. Can we have a round of applause for our panelist and our moderator who held a very insightful discussion on the threats and the opportunities of artificial intelligence. Well, the first panel discussion, it was moderated by Ms. Shweta Ganju, who is Chief Sub-Editor, Techlusive.in. Can we have a round of applause for Ms. Ganju, ladies and gentlemen? And we had three panelists on our first panel discussion. We had with us Dr. Subhi Chaturvedi, who is the Global SVP and Chief Corporate Affairs and Public Policy Officer at InMobi. A round of applause for Dr. Chaturvedi, ladies and gentlemen. We also had with us Karthik Sharma. Mr. Sharma is a co-founder of Decode AI, which is a DIY AI learning platform, and he's also a member of Fiki EdTech. A round of applause for Mr. Sharma. And our last panelist for the first panel discussion of today's event was Mr. Himanshu Goyal, who is the co-founder and CEO of Future Studios. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our panelist and our moderator. Well, I would now request Dr. Loya to please come up on the stage and award our next set of winners. I would also request Mr. Syed Nazakat, founder and CEO, Data Leads, to please come up on the stage and award our next set of winners. Well, we've had a plethora of discussions on the advent of AI, the pros and the cons of AI, and our next panel discussion will also delve upon that same very topic. But first, let's also award our next set of winners. Well, the award for Viewer's Choice 5G Smartphone under 10K, that award goes to ITEL PS5 5G. A round of applause for the winners, ladies and gentlemen. The award for Viewer's Choice 5G Smartphone under 10K, that goes to ITEL PS5 5G. Can we please have a round of applause for our winners, ladies and gentlemen? And that's the award for Viewer's Choice 5G smartphone under 10K. And that award goes to ITEL PS5 5G. And the award for Budget Smartphone of the Year, that award goes to Realme Narzo 60X 5G. Can we please have the winners on the stage? Budget Smartphone of the Year, that award goes to Realme Narzo 60X 5G. A round of applause for the winners, ladies and gentlemen. And that's the award for the Budget Smartphone of the Year. And the award goes to Realme Narzo 60X 5G. Well, the award for Camera Smartphone of the Year, that award goes to Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. The award for Camera Smartphone of the Year, which goes to Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. A round of applause for our winners, ladies and gentlemen. And that's the award for the Camera Smartphone of the Year, which goes to Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. The award for Flagship Smartphone of the Year, that award goes to Vivo X90 Pro. A round of applause for our next set of winners, which is Flagship Smartphone of the Year, and the winner is Vivo X90 Pro. And the award for the most promising smartphone brand of the year, that award goes to iQOO. A round of applause for our winners, which is the most promising smartphone brand of the year, and that award goes to iQOO. Can you please have the winners on the stage? Round of applause for our winners, ladies and gentlemen. And the award for Smartwatch of the Year, that award goes to Samsung Galaxy Watch 6. The award for Smartwatch of the Year goes to Samsung Galaxy Watch 6. A round of applause for our winners. And the award for most promising smart TV brand of the year, that goes to Thomson. Can we please have the winners on the stage? The award for most promising smart TV brand of the year, and that goes to Thomson. A round of applause for our winners, ladies and gentlemen. And that's the award for most promising smart TV brand of the year. And the award goes to Thomson. Our next award is Premium Laptop of the Year, and that award goes to Asus ZenBook S13 OLED. A round of applause for our next set of winners, which is of the Premium Laptop of the Year, and that goes to Asus ZenBook S13 OLED. A round of applause for our winners, ladies and gentlemen. I would request Dr. Loya to please be seated. Thank you so much. But I would request Mr. Nazakat to please stay on the stage. And I would also take this moment to give a brief introduction about our keynote speaker. It gives me immense happiness to introduce our keynote speaker for today's Techlusive Summit and Award Season 4. Please give a round of applause to Mr. Syed Nazakat, who is a founder and CEO of Data Leads, which is a tech and digital media company that he founded to promote open data and also democratization of information at scale. Well, he leads Data Leads in New Delhi as well as overseas. It's outreach across the world with different partners. I would now request Mr. Syed to please share his views on the theme of today's summit.
Hi, thank you so much for the kind introduction. And it has been just a pleasure to be here and hearing the session before and the Honorable Minister. I think I'm going to share a couple of thoughts essentially about how AI is making a fundamental impact on at least one major industry, which is information and communication. And globally, I think for the first time in the human history, we are having access to more information than we are able to consume. For hundreds of years, for thousands of years, we're looking and searching for information. Today, our problem is that we have too much information available. And our challenge remains how to make sense of this information. As a human being, we have a limited competency in terms of how much I can handle in maybe a couple of hundred, couple of dozen, maybe a couple of thousand, but not millions and millions of data sets which are floating on, essentially online. So how does technology change this in next 5 to 10 years? We're already seeing that new technologies, including the artificial intelligence, has been mainstreamed by news organizations globally. China was the first country to have an AI-driven anchor who was able to read news. And that was just 6 years ago. India alone, Delhi alone, or the NCR region alone, has more than 26 anchors who can actually read news. And there's a company hardly 25 kilometers from here which produces these anchors for the global production houses. We have a company, again, in the middle of, in Delhi, which has built an AI engine to increase engagement of the audiences with the content. And I think there's a huge global implication of the role of technology in the communication because it actually challenges our capacity, one, to produce information, second, to analyze information, and third, to build an engagement with that information. So when we look at it from a communication, digital media point of view, it has a huge ramification for the businesses as well. So the future business models, they will be built keeping in mind how technology will add value in order to scale how we reach people. And if you also look at the transformation of the technology, or maybe how we used to absorb information. So our oldest newspaper is 246, it was 246 years ago, then when India had the first newspaper, the Bengal Gazette. It took us more than 200 years to have a TV station, just 65 years ago. So you can see the change was very slow. 200 years from a newspaper to a TV station. And then the internet came 20, 25 years, everything changed. In the last 4 years, amazing, like unpredictable, development, how information is disseminated. And the way we are looking at it globally, we are seeing that next 5, 10 years will have unprecedented innovation in terms of how we disseminate, create, and consume information. So who will lead this revolution, actually? Will the traditional organization be able to invest in these ideas? Will they have vision to invest in these ideas? And who will they hire to lead these organizations? because you cannot create an organization where the leaders do not have the same vision which is needed for this transformation. So I also feel eventually in the next 5-6 years, we will have a huge challenge globally, of course, to procure a global talent who can lead, who will lead these initiatives, who will build future companies. And I think in India, fortunately for us, given the tech know-how and the huge investment in terms of our engineering investments in colleges, universities and all, there's a global opportunity for India to be the leader in this whole space. At Data Leads, we have been working with a number of partners. We were just recently in Dubai at our global data dialogue, and it was amazing to see Indian companies taking lead in this initiative. So I think that future is quite optimistic. Of course, the challenges will remain. How do we protect people from an AI-driven harm? Who will regulate AI eventually? And because if something goes wrong because of an AI or who will you punish? Will you punish a machine or will you punish a human being? And who owns this technology? What is the copyright actually? So you must have seen that a lot of tech companies already, Adobe is leading, they're creating AI-driven images. They're not the video and the images. So that means who is going to take ownership of that content in the future as well? Like these are images you prompt and they create a video. So there's a question, there's a debate about we need to regulate it for sure, but we cannot be afraid of this technology and stop innovating. We cannot stop investing and say, no, we need to be careful. I think that is really not a situation we are in. I think we need a pace, we need an innovation, we need an investment, and we need to adopt and embrace this technology. And there's an incredible opportunity for us to take lead in that. And we are already seeing, in India at least, there are companies already on that front. On a concluding thought, if I leave it, maybe this evening, I often ask myself as well, what are the things which AI will change in the next 10 years? A lot of things, right? How we produce information, how we create things, how we take decisions, how we combine a lot of things and map data, get a better understanding, maybe relieve a lot of jobs which are human interesting, and then maybe help human beings to focus on other areas. So a lot of things will change. Maybe every sector will change. If you look at banking, automobile, every industry is adopting 1 or 2nd level of AI. In information and media, 1 year back, 2 years back, AI was kind of a buzzword. People will just talk about AI. But in India alone, I can see already 10, 20 companies already in this space actually, working, making money out of different technologies. So that is one question. What will change in next 10 years with the help of AI, or what AI can change? But the critical question is also, what will AI not change in next 10 years? And how are we trying to work on those areas as well? Maybe we need to better focus us also on the areas where we will not see AI changing much. That means maybe perhaps the human curiosity to know things, the context, the background. AI can give us a speed, but we will always need human intervention for a background. So I think if we look at both options together, there's an incredible opportunity for us to move forward. But I think our biggest challenge will be, and I can maybe conclude on that thought, our biggest challenge will be, how do we embrace uncertainty? How do we embrace where we're not really clear how the future holds, but at the same time, we are brave enough and courageous enough to innovate, to think outside the box, to invest in areas where there's a risk actually. And Ravi Venkatesh, a former Microsoft India chairman, has said it beautifully. He said, if there's a one quality every CEO, every thought leader, every leader in the future needs, that is the spirit of courage. That you should have a lot of courage to take decisions, to invest and embrace things which are new, which look absolutely unpredictable, instead of being fearful of change. So I thank the organizers for inviting, and I also thank you for patiently listening. I wish the rest of the summit all the best. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much.
I would request Mr. Nazakat to please stay on the stage. We have a small token of appreciation for you. And for that, I would request Mr. Sridhar Mishra to please come up on the stage to felicitate our keynote speaker. I would also request Sushant Mohan, CEO, DMCL, to please come up on the stage and felicitate our keynote speaker, Mr. Syed Nazakat. A round of applause for our keynote speaker. I also request Mr. Sushant Mohan, CEO, DMCL, to please come up on the stage and felicitate our keynote speaker. Can we have a round of applause for Mr. Syed Nazakat, ladies and gentlemen? Mr. Nazakat has also won the prestigious Ramnath Goenka Excellence Award and the British Medical Journal Award. Well, I now take this opportunity to extend a heartfelt gratitude to our jury members, whose acumen has enabled to decipher and to decide the better amongst the best. And I would now introduce our jury members and request them to please come up on the stage. I would request Abhishek Bhatnagar, who's a senior tech blogger, who is one of our first jury members, to please come up on the stage. Can we have a round of applause for Mr. Bhatnagar, ladies and gentlemen? Well, we also have with us Ankit Malhotra, Senior Research Analyst at Counterpoint. A round of applause for Mr. Malhotra. Our next jury member is Mr. Faisal Kawusa, Chief Analyst and Founder TechArc. A round of applause for Mr. Kawusa, ladies and gentlemen. And our final jury is Yogesh Barar, Industry Analyst. A round of applause for Mr. Barar. And I would also now request Mr. Avnish Upadhyay, editor Techlusive.in, to please come up on the stage and present mementos to our juries who helped in deciding the winners of today's summit and awards. A round of applause for our jury members, ladies and gentlemen. Can we please have a round of applause for our jury members, ladies and gentlemen? Well, that's... Well, our jury members helped, whose acumen has clearly enabled us to decide the better amongst the best. And our jury members are Abhishek Bhatnagar, Ankit Malhotra, Faisal Kawusa, and Yogesh Barar. Can we please have a round of applause for our jury members, ladies and gentlemen, who tediously decided the winners for today's summit and awards. Thank you so much for being with us here today. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are now about to start with the final panel discussion of today's event on the topic, is Web 3.0 worth the hype and the road ahead? Well, our next panel discussion will demystify what exactly is Web 3.0 and is it something you should keep your eye on? Well, I would now like to call our panelist and our moderator on the stage. The session, our final session, will be moderated by Akshansh Yadav, Chief Product and Technology Officer, IDPL. Can we have a round of applause for our moderator, Mr. Yadav? I would request Mr. Yadav to please come up on the stage. I would also now announce our panelists for our final discussion. Please welcome Pawan Duggal, who is a renowned personality in the field of cybersecurity and AI laws. While Mr. Duggal is the founder and chairman of International Commission on Cybersecurity Law and the president of Cyber Laws. A round of applause for Mr. Duggal, ladies and gentlemen. We also have with us Professor Rehan Khan Suri. He is the Director of Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship at JMI Central University. Can we have a round of applause for Professor Suri? Please also welcome our next panelist. We have with us Kazim Rizvi. He is the public policy entrepreneur and founder of the Dialog. And prior to the Dialog, he led the energy policy communication for the British High Commission. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And we also have with us Dr. Avneet Singh Marwa. He is the Director and CEO of Super Plastronics Private Limited. And under his leadership, SPPL has introduced globally renowned brands such as Kodak, Thomson, and White Westinghouse in India. A round of applause for our panelist and our moderator. The stage is all yours, Mr. Yadav.
First of all, I thank every one of you on being here, on your presence. We'll just start with the discussion. I guess the year was 1997 when Web.1 was something which was a phenomena fueled by internet. And we had seen a lot of startups which had come up in this space, fueled by investments into the .com, and the euphoria ended with when the .com bubble burst in 2000, in the year 2000. Now, 2 decades later, we are again facing this euphoria wherein we see the advent of metaverse, we see blockchain technology coming up, we see cryptocurrency coming up, and the phenomena is invariably called Web 3.0. So are we heading towards another .com bubble, or is the hype justified? We'll start with you, sir. So what do you think? Web 3.0, is the hype justified? Where are we headed with this cryptocurrency, blockchain? And since you are a cybersecurity expert, all these decentralized networks, what's the way forward?
Well, one thing is very clear. There's a slight bubble. The bubble may slightly burst. But having said that, these are existing ground realities. There's no way you can wish crypto ecosystem away. Whether you like it or not, it's this crypto ecosystem that's powering the darknet. And the darknet is 500 times the size of the superficial net. So if you think that the way how this crypto ecosystem is powering the darknet will vanish overnight, I don't really think so. Yes, metaverse, people are getting slightly disturbed. There was so much of hype around, and now nobody seems to be talking of the metaverse. But that does not mean that a metaverse has evaporated. Metaverse is now maturing, and consequently, Indians, being remarkably jugadu, have these remarkable capacities of coming up with new things. Recently, one of our clients had a female avatar on the metaverse. And that female avatar on the metaverse got digitally raped by a male avatar on the metaverse. The client is livid, wants us to take action for digital rape. But there's a problem. The law still does not recognize digital rape. So while these things are happening, there's a lot of stuff happening. Cybersecurity breaches are coming left, right, and center. I'm putting in so much of money as a stakeholder to buy virtual assets, virtual property, only to realize that my virtual property is getting defaced because there's absence of appropriate parameters on cybersecurity. So I think while I go forward, I think these are distinctive, big realities. Yes, when I compare this in the context of AI, it's getting dwarfed. But this is a very important, significant portion. But if India really wants to piggy ride on its thought leadership, it will have to come up with appropriate legal frameworks which can help support Web 3.0 and the emerging connected technologies. Why? Because we only have a 23-year-old legislation, being the Information Technology Act 2000, to deal with a technology that was never existing 23 years back. So having said that, even right now we have effective 11th of August 2023, the government has now passed the Digital Personal Data Protection Act. But the problem is large number of these provisions of this law still do not really cover aspects pertaining to these newly emerging Web 3.0. And on top of it, cyber security is going to be the latest casualty. India doesn't have a dedicated law on cyber security, but having said that, you will have to come up with quickly legal parameters which can help promote the growth of cybersecurity. If we are able to do our homework right, if we are able to play our cards right, I see no reason why India should not have thought leadership on Web 3.0 along with AI. But you know, we Indians like to think in silos. If I'm talking AI, I only want to talk AI, I don't want to talk Web 3.0. But then it's a case of harmonious coexistence. I believe artificial intelligence will continue to harmoniously coexist with Web 3.0. Web 3.0 is not getting much buzz, but it's slowly maturing and will be a very important building block for India to demonstrate its thought leadership.
Very rightly said, sir. So over to you. How do you think, as sir very rightly said, it's a constantly evolving space. There needs to be harmonious coexistence. What sort of innovations and what sort of entrepreneurship opportunities do you see coming up in this space?
First of all, I thank Rohit for giving me this opportunity to be here with such a august panelists. Very rightly pointed out by Mr. Pavan sir, and many speakers have talked about, and you cannot talk things in silos, but if you just focus and look at Web 3.0, that is basically working towards the decentralization. And that is also killing the monopoly of just 2 players or 3 players. That is basically, and you cannot get away of it. And the road ahead is, as he rightly pointed, it's gradually coming up. It's a big bubble, has already been burst. And you cannot shy away, and you cannot say, yes, it is not going to happen. It is going to happen. And when it would happen, how to control it? And regulatory bodies have already started working on it. How to regulate this? Basically, the biggest challenge is the ownership. And innovation is, of course, definitely, in a country like India, we just see innovation every day. And that's why we are on the top. You just look at the moment we started in fintech, and we are #1 in the globe. Same as, again, as you know, this technology, daily something is coming up. And AI has already been empowered, enabled, working towards it more quickly. And I think next 5 to 10 years, many changes would be there, whether it's Meta and it would be a disruption. Because when Web 2.0 was launched, even prior to that, people were not believing that. You may find few interviews of such big people like Bill Gates, they were laughing on it. And now same happening with the Web 3.0. And I'm sure within 5 to 10 years, it is going to happen. And we have to just look at the kind of the originality, which is the origin, because as he rightly pointed out about the virtual assets, and many things which is going to happen. Because we are going to accept, you just look at the gaming. People have realized, like PUBG and all, they're living in the virtual world, so it is going to happen.
Sure, sir. Over to you, Kasim ji. How do you think the disruption is going to happen in Web 3.0? As we have said that it's a constantly evolving space, or said that it's a space which is going to disrupt many verticals, especially communication and media. How do you think this is going to shape up in the coming 3 to 5 years?
So I think if we look at Web 3.0, let's look at Web 1.0. In the 1990s, you had a very basic version of the internet. You could read and write. Then in early 2000s, you started seeing the emergence of audio-visual on the internet. You started seeing that you could interact with the internet. You could engage with people directly. And internet became the premier form of communication. It became the premier form of entertainment. And now we are living in 2023, where Web 2.0 has reached a peak. And Web 3.0 is being discussed, where basically what you're looking at is a decentralized internet. And Web 2.0, Web 1.0 is, of course, internet is driven by companies, large central companies. Now you're looking at decentralized systems where peer-to-peer communication and peer-to-peer engagements possibly will take place. There was a lot of hope and hype in the late 2010s, in the early 2015, 16, 17 about Web 3.0, crypto, etc. But I think it seems to have sort of really died down, reduced to quite an extent, because we haven't seen enough use cases of Web 3.0 coming in with respect to B2B and B2C. And I think that's where, my fellow panelists were also talking about the emergence of AI, and AI seems to have taken over the entire discourse with respect to how the future of internet will look like. Will the future of internet look like wearables within metaverse? If we are having this conference today, we can wear all our wearables, our AR, VR devices, and talk to each other. But we are not at a very mature stage with regard to wearables. And we also will have a lot of issues which the law is not mature enough to deal with right now. So we need new laws, number one. but we also need strong policies by the government to be able to first identify, is there a market for Web 3.0, for metaverse? And right now, the market seems to be very small. So what we need is we need to allow startups to build the platforms. We need startups to sort of keep coming in and innovating. So that opportunity exists in India. But when it comes to really creating a strong market, we are somewhere behind the curve. I mean, globally, if we look at Web 3.0, we are not there yet in terms of where we thought we would be in 2023, 2024. So let's look at metaverse, for example. Now, metaverse deals with you basically having digital avatar of people, and you're interacting with a lot of people. You need devices. It's not a very consumer-friendly system right now. If we were to look at something to go from mobile phones, because mobile phone was smartphone was actually the big invention of 21st century. We moved from a very basic analog version or a very basic digital version of a phone to app-based phones, which could literally do anything. You know, when they say there's an app for everything, right? There's an app for anything. If we have to go to the next level of technological development, we have to move beyond smartphones. Is metaverse something, is a wearable? If I wear something on my face and I look at people, I consume content, is AR, VR the future of smartphone? I would like it to be, but it's not right now. So we are still waiting and watching with regard to the technological progress with Web 3.0, with metaverse. But also, at this stage, we need some sort of guardrails. We need some sort of policy mechanism to be able to deal with internet where you are interacting and you're in a hyper-connected digital ecosystem. What are the laws? How do those laws protect you, ensure your safety of your digital avatar, etc.? We need to have those conversations right now. And if you look at, let's suppose, crypto, right? I mean, we're talking about Web 3.0. There are a lot of challenges when it comes to crypto, and the government has been very clear about it. There are challenges with regard to money laundering, with regard to terror financing, and traceability is one key challenge when it comes to, you know, these crypto ecosystems. How do you trace the way the money has flown from one aspect to the other? So these are issues which have to be countered, which has to be tackled. And once there is a response and solution to some of these problems and challenges, and we look at dark web, etc., then it will give government the hope that, look, we can come up with some sort of policies to regulate, etc. Because, and the solution is not going to be only restricted to India. You need a global consensus, a multilateral consensus to deal with some of these issues.
Sure. So far what we have discussed is that it's a constantly evolving space. It needs to be regulated. India is lagging behind somewhat on products that are coming up from the market. I think we all can agree that the hype is there, but the hype is real. So what are your thoughts on how Web 3.0 ecosystem is shaping up in India?
First of all, good evening, everyone. I think why we are talking that it's 3.0 is hyped, it's because one of the prime reason has been pandemic. What we were expecting in next 6 to 7 years actually happened in 2 years.
Sure.
And most of us were on screen, whether work from home, schools, or the only source of entertainment was television, because there was no local entertainment, local production was happening. So everything was on OTT. I will talk from a consumer side, because how consumer is dealing with this and what's the difference between Web 1.0, 2.0 and 3.0. So Web 1.0 was basically consumer should come on web. 2.0 was how, after coming on the web, how they can collect the data. 3.0 is how to break down the data and how it can be used in a personal space. And which is, I feel, when it comes to personal space, and then this whole security system comes into place. As Sir said, because that's what is your personal data, and anybody can access to that data. We were not ready for this kind of technology in India, let's be honest. when things started happening, because of the whole AI, as I told you that how the ecosystem has completely changed, then there was a revolution by Indian government UPI. We were not ready with the frauds that it may happen. And that started happening. After that, we had a lot of new regulation. Now, bill is also coming. So one part is this. The other part is how consumer-friendly is this technology is. As sir mentioned, smartphone. I come from a smart TV industry. There's a huge evolution change in last 2 to 3 years. If I'm getting ready, I just need to ask my TV, how much time will it take to reach my workplace? And TV will respond. Okay, so that sort of technology where we don't need anybody else. Okay, we have some technology to tell you, you can interact with the technology. Now, the biggest change that has happened is how to save time for consumers. The biggest challenge is that consumer doesn't have that much of time, therefore shorts, reels, etc. has been very common. So to minimize that, with the help of 3.0, there is a UI, the kind of genre that you watch on television. You will start getting that sort of data from all the OTT apps. And once you will watch it, it will not be repeated. So this is a consumer side. I have already spoken about the threats that it has. Apart from that, one technology which I feel that it's not matured enough is the VR. There's a very long way to go. The human body versus VR is a very, very big topic. And how your retina can sustain watching VR, that's a very big question. Whether biggest other companies have researched, still there has been flaws in this. So if you're watching for 2 hours or 3 hours, is it comfortable for your eyes, for your body? So that's a bigger question. Therefore, I feel that there'll be a long way to go in VR. Other than that, the technologies are getting maturer, but it's a national threat right now. You must have seen after 2021, government took a lot of steps, banned a lot of apps. This was the first step, then the government realized something wrong is happening. And now more big steps will come. Country's data is one of the most important thing right now, what I feel.
Sure. Just taking your point forward on wearables, I guess a couple of us spoke about wearables. So Ray-Ban has come up with smart glasses in tie-up with Meta, wherein you can see your maps, you can listen to music, you can listen to speak, and there is an AI built in, bases your mood, it shows the music, it shows you the videos. Google had also come up with the smart lenses, I guess, a decade back. The product totally tanked at that time. But do you think it is the right time to build wearables? I'm opening this up for all of you. Yep.
Yeah, actually, see, the technology has to evolve. It's experiments that they keep on doing. And this is part of experiment. We work very closely with Google. Whatever, they had many products, but the success products are very limited. And believe me or not, one of the products that's Alexa, you must have heard of.
Sure.
They have burned a lot of money, Amazon and so that technology, the kind of payoff that they were thinking of, they didn't get that kind of ROI after investing huge amount of money in last 3 to 4 years. So yes, it's an evolution. It depends on the consumer, how friendly it is. Plus, especially when you tell it, when you're going and you can see the maps, etc. Is it effective? While if you're on a bigger screen or a smaller screen, all these questions always, all these questions is very, very important while using the technology. So again, it's not a mature technology. It will take course of time.
Sure. I believe when we are using wearables, we are effectively mortgaging our privacy. Because my wearable is not only telling me that 10,000 steps is what I've taken, it's not telling you that your 10,000 steps information is going on a server outside India, which can be seen by state and non-state actors. This is one massive way your privacy can be impacted. This at a place, at a time when the Indian Supreme Court says that your right to privacy is a fundamental right under Article 21 of the Constitution of India. So clearly, wearables look fantastic, but I think wearables also have health-related issues. It's good and stylish to put the AirPods on. And the latest research is saying, Chief, welcome Alzheimer's in a few years' time. So clearly, people have to get out of this buzz of wearable technologies. Yes, use them with moderation, but please understand, do not allow these wearable technologies to make you the guinea pig in terms of experimenting either on your privacy or on your civil liberties. And needless to say, if I can actually go and hack into your wearable, I effectively can even control, because there has been now cases where you can effectively hack into the Internet of Things, Internet of Behavior, and even cause deaths per se. So I think we have to look at bigger issue on how we can address the cyber security of the wearables and also protect our human values and rights. Thanks.
Just to add what Mr. Pawan mentioned about this wearables and the privacy, Web 3.0 will empower you more on privacy, basically. That is basically the future. And that is, again, because right now, whenever you are just logging into web and anywhere, you have to just log in your this user ID, password, your details. But the moment Web 3.0 will empower you just going with the anonymity, just with one login, you can log into any site. So that may help at one side. It would help you, help anybody for the privacy purpose also. So you can also easily trace. This is one. Another, the better part is again, in many education sector, because I belong to that sector and we are working more innovation in education also. So we are also seeing the security in terms of verification. You talk about the blockchain technology helps you to just go without the, as you mentioned about the security, that gives you more power in terms of the security, same as with Web 3.0 also. But again, tracking is the biggest issue. That the challenges as well as advantages both are there.
Sure. Last comments from you, Kasimji. There is one more line of thought that with the advent of AI and Web 3.0, we are eventually going to surrender our free will. It's going to be AI which is going to make decisions for us, be it choosing what are we going to eat, be it the playlist that we are going to hear on our way to work, or be it the movies we watch. So do you think that is going to be another of the threats that we are going to surrender our free will to AI in the coming years?
No, look, I think any technology is a double-edged sword, and AI definitely is a double-edged sword because it comes with a lot of opportunities, but we have to be very mindful of the challenges it comes with. And I think when we talk about will AI take over and all those existential questions, I don't think that will happen, because I do believe that natural intelligence is far more beyond AI. The fact that can AI organize itself into groups and communities to really threaten nation states. We don't know. Somebody has to be able to control AI to sort of really say that, okay, if we have tested this out, then we can do it. I don't think so, because AI is produced by humans. So somebody will eventually control AI. So I don't think AI will have the skill and the temperament or the intelligence to do that. But at the same time, we cannot be, depending on AI for everything it can do for us. We have to let it support us. So AI is going to augment human abilities, human capabilities, but I don't think it will take over. And when we talk about the future of jobs, etc., a lot of new jobs will emerge. If you look at the internet, before internet, how many jobs were there? After the advent of internet, we saw so many jobs coming up. The entire field of digital marketing is because of the internet. You're looking at internet-led jobs in hardware, software, etc. So AI will help create more jobs. I don't think it will replace humans particularly, but at the same time, there are a lot of harms which are gonna happen, and in the future, we have to be ready for those harms. So what we need right now is, while we're looking at the growth of AI, we need some sort of principles, some guidelines, a framework to be able to say, okay, this is how you should deploy the use of AI.
On that note, I thank you all for joining me today. I guess that's a wrap.
Can we round of applause for our panelists and our moderator? I would also request our panelists and moderator to please stay on the stage. We have a small token of appreciation for all of you, and for that very same thing, I would request Mr. Sridhar Mishra, Chief Revenue Officer, Z Digital Publishing, to please come up on the stage and present a small token of appreciation to our panelists. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our final panelist and a moderator who held a very engaging and insightful discussion on is Web 3.0 worth the hype and the road ahead. Can we please have a round of applause for our panelist and a moderator? The final session was moderated by Mr. Akshansh Yadav, who is the Chief Product and Technology Officer, IDPL. And we had 4 panelists for the discussion. We had with us Mr. Pavan Duggal, who is a renowned personality in the field of cybersecurity and AI laws. We also had with us Professor Rehan Khan Suri. He's the Director of Center for Innovation at JMI Central University. And finally, we also had with us Mr. Kazim Rizvi. He's a public policy entrepreneur and founder of the Dialog. And we also had with us Dr. Avneet Singh Marwa, who is the Director and CEO of Super Plastronics Private Limited. Can we please have a round of applause for our panelists and our moderator for holding that very insightful discussion on the future of Web 3.0. Well, before we move ahead, I would take this moment to thank our sponsors, without whom this event wouldn't have been possible. OTT partner Watcho and associate partner 99acres.com. Well, we've almost reached the end of today's event, but before that, we also have our last set of winners who will be awarded in the next few minutes. And for that very same thing, I would now request our jury members to please come up on the stage and award our next set of winners. I would request Mr. Abhishek, Mr. Ankit, and Mr. Yogesh to please come up on the stage and award our next set of winners. Well, our jury members helped us in deciding the best amongst the better. And I would now request our jury members to please come up on the stage and award our next set of winners. I would request Mr. Abhishek, Mr. Ankit, and Mr. Yogesh to please come up on the stage and award our next set of winners. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the award for Best Innovation in Smartphones, that award goes to OnePlus Open. Can we please have the winner on the stage for the award of Best Innovation in Smartphone, and that award goes to OnePlus Open. Can I please request the winner to please come up on the stage for the award of Best Innovation in Smartphone, and the award goes to OnePlus Open. A round of applause for our winner, ladies and gentlemen. And that's the award for the Best Innovation in Smartphone. That goes to OnePlus Open. Well, the award for Tablet of the Year, that award goes to Xiaomi Pad 6. Can I please request the winner to come up on the stage? And that's the award for Tablet of the Year. The award goes to Xiaomi Pad 6. A round of applause for our winners. And the award for TWS of the Year, that award goes to Nothing Year 2. Can I please request the winner to please come up on the stage for the award of TWS of the Year, and that award goes to Nothing Year 2. Can we please have a round of applause for our winner, ladies and gentlemen? And this is the award for TWS of the Year, which goes to Nothing Year 2. And the award for Smart TV of the Year, Mass Market, that award goes to Samsung CU7650 65 inches Ultra HD 4K Smart LED TV. A round of applause for our winners, which is of the Smart TV of the Year, Mass Market. And that award goes to Samsung CU7650 65 inches Ultra HD 4K Smart LED TV. And the award for Budget Laptop of the Year, that goes to HP Chromebook 15.6. And that's the award for the Budget Laptop of the Year, and the award goes to HP Chromebook 15.6. That's the award for the Budget Laptop of the Year, and the winner is HP Chromebook 15.6. Well, the award for Gaming Laptop of the Year, that award goes to MSI Katana 1513VFK. A round of applause for the Gaming Laptop of the Year. Can we please have a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for the Gaming Laptop of the Year? And that award goes to MSI Katana 1513VFK. And finally, our last award of today's summit and event, and the award is Most Popular Laptop Brand of the Year, and that award goes to Lenovo. Can we please have the winners on the stage for the Most Popular Laptop Brand of the Year, and that award goes to Lenovo. And that's the award for the Most Popular Laptop Brand of the Year, and the winner is Lenovo. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, jury. I would request you to please be seated now. Ladies and gentlemen, last but not the least, I would like to thank all of you for taking out time from a busy schedule and attending today's event, with special mention to those who enlightened us with their thoughts and participated wholeheartedly in making this event a success. And finally, I would like to congratulate all our winners in today's event. The event wouldn't have been possible without our sponsors, OTT partner Watcho and associate partner 99acres.com. May I now request the August gathering to please join us for dinner and cocktails outside.